Hi there, my name is Flo, and I'm here to talk about how to standardize the naming conventions of files uploaded through Salesforce Flow. Now, before we actually go through an exercise showing how to do this, I want to talk about why it's important to standardize the name of file uploads. At its very core, it has to do with organization. We want to make sure that the files that are being uploaded into our orgs are organized in a way that humans could could sift through them. We don't want them to rely on custom metadata or system metadata, such as created date or last modified date, to get the documents that they want. Another reason why it's really important to standardize the file uploads, especially in Salesforce Flow, is because if we don't do that, then Salesforce will actually just take the file name given by the uploader on their machine and use that as a file name in Salesforce. Which, if you're dealing with rockstar users who have no issues and life is just rainbows for them, then this might not be the video for you. However, if you're dealing with users like me, where you're all scatterbrained, you don't remember 1 minute from the next, then you might be dealing with file names such as these, where maybe it's just random characters or gibberish, or words or names are misspelled. And maybe you're not dealing with a ton of files or uploads right now at this moment, but as you start to grow and scale, this is going to be an increasingly important problem to deal with as you deal with archiving and auditing. So it's better to just nip it in the bud right now. And so to show you how to do that, I created a set of requirements that are very similar to actually a project that I had in real world project that I had, and it's gonna help show you the reasoning of things, and hopefully you'll be able to apply this model to your own personal org and requirements. So as far as my requirement for this video, we just need a flow where users just enter their driver's license ID, like physically enter the number, and they also upload exactly two files, one for the front of the driver's license and one for the back. And we will need two file upload components for those because we want to upload exactly two. And as far as the file upload specific requirements, we want the name to be of this convention, so DL plus the license ID plus front plus last name and the date. Same for the back basically. And the files need to be related to the contact record of the user filling it out and uploading. So pretty simple requirement. Let's go to the flow and talk through how to do that. I'm just going to show this requirement here on the side so that we have it available. So this is my flow here. I always start up my flow with a get element basically, and this get element is going to find the ID, the record that I give it, using this logged in contact variable. This logged in variable is just an input variable that I can use to debug. The requirement does kind of assume that this would be placed in the community, but I'm not going to go that far for this video. You can do that yourselves, or we can actually go through another video detailing how to do that. But anyways, so we start with getting the contact information, then we ask the user for the driver's license number. Simple. That's going to be used in the formula though. And then we ask the users to upload their files. So we have two separate file upload components, one from the front and one from the back, just like the requirement said so. And as far as the setup for these, so I'm not allowing multiple files. I'm making this false. The related record here is the logged in contact ID that I told you about at the beginning. And really the most important part of this entire thing is checking this manually assigned variables and creating a text collection variable and placing it here on the content document ID output space. And so what this is going to do by doing this, essentially what happens is Salesforce, so you upload your file in the flow, you click next, Salesforce actually uploads that file to Salesforce and creates a content document record. And so when you click next, after Salesforce creates that content document record, it's going to store the ID here in this collection variable. And yeah, that's it. So that's pretty much what you need as far as a setup of your file upload component. You'll see that my back, so my other one for the back is set up the same way. I just created a different collection variable for this one to store the file, the back upload, the back side of the ID upload. And so now what we're going to do first is we create a loop, and within this loop we assign the collection variable that we created and applied as this in the space for the content document IDs as the output. So right now we're testing, we're using the front collection variable, sorry. And so and ideally this only just has one ID value in here because we marked multiple files as false. So this is just going to be going through IDs, but this is just, specifically just one ID. And then we have two assignment variables to go through in the loop. And before I go through the assignments, you should create two variables. One is a record single variable. The one that I created is single content document ID for loop. And this record single variable acts sort of as like the ideal state for the content document ID record that we uploaded. And what I mean by ideal state, I mean ideally it has the file name or title equal to what we want as far as a naming convention. If that doesn't make sense, I'll clear it up in a bit. I also created a record collection variable as opposed to a text collection variable earlier. And this record collection variable is of object content document, allows multiple values, and it's going to be used here in this last update records as a way to kind of for the system to update all the file names of the uploads that we're processing in this flow directly, all in one go. So how it works is basically, so we go in through this loop and we're going through the front facing driver's license ID file uploads. And in this assignment, what we're doing is we're assigning the values to our ideal state content document ID record. So the ID is going to be the current item from the loop that we're in. So in this case, it's going to be the loop of the front name change. And then for the title, we're going to have that equal this formula that we created prior. So fxdl front upload. And just to show you what this formula looks like, simple formula, just of type text that includes all the information that we wanted. So the driver's license, like the actual words DL, the number, front, the last name of the person, and the upload date. And note that we added text here in front of the date because otherwise Salesforce is going to throw errors. So now, after the loop goes through this assignment variable, the single content document ID variable, or a record single variable, is going to be updated to its ideal state. So this is the record that we want to have. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to push that record single variable into a collection variable through this assignment. So now we see that this collection variable, content document names to update, we're going to add this record here, the single content document ID, which is our record single variable. So the collection variable gets added the single record variable. I did have some issues initially setting this up. Sometimes it doesn't like it when you do this. My suggestion is to just click done and open the assignment window again and try and get this to work, because sometimes it does act buggy, just full disclosure. But this is the proper setup. You're not looking for any particular ID or variable here. You're just looking for the value of the variable, the entire variable itself. And so once this is done, it's going to go through the loop again. And because we only have one content document ID as far as the front upload component, then it's going to go over to here. And now it's going to process the back uploads. So similar to this loop now has a collection variable of the content of the back uploaded content document IDs. And we're recycling the record single variable that we created. So now the ID is equal to the current item of the back loop. And the title for this record single variable is equal to this formula that we created for the back upload. And so I'll just show this to you. It's the same thing, basically. And then the assignment here, now we're adding this single content document ID loop for loop again, the record single variable. We're adding it again to the record collection variable, but at this time, this variable has different values than it did before. Its ID and its title are completely different. However, it has our ideal state records that we want to upload and update Salesforce with. So now finally we're done with the loops. We just create this, or we add this update record component or element, sorry, and then we just add our record collection variable here. And it's super, super easy. When you hit done, we don't need this final screen. This is just a screen to confirm things. This is actually just going to give us the ID, so it's not really important, but we'll just hit save. And now get ready for the test. We'll see if this works. So I'm going to get a contact. So I'm going to use Phil Collins here. And you'll see that I have no notes and attachments. I'm going to refresh. I really want to make sure that, I'm not messing with y'all. I'm going to copy the ID here and place it here. All right, so we enter our driver's license, and I'm going to enter 3333333. I hope that's 8 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I don't trust myself though. Okay. Then we do our driver or our actual uploads. So I'm gonna upload my front, and I'm not gonna upload my IDs. I only have this. I'll use this one. So I'll use Flow Resume New as my front, and Flow Resume 2020 as the back. And so if we didn't have this, actually, let me show you a quick little. So if I didn't do this, if I actually just left it at this point now. Let's see if it actually uploaded them. Yeah. So you see, it uploaded the files and it related them to the record, but it's still using the file names that I created on my machine. So this is the issue that we're talking about earlier. Okay, but now we click next, and we're at the last screen, so it means it went through all the loops. We see here the fast update. It looks like it worked, but really we won't know until we verify it here. So let's just verify, and boom, you see? So now it has a driver's license, front, the last name, and the upload date. And so here we are. And just to show you, the last modified date is 6:05 on 11/21. It's 9:06. I'm on Eastern Time. This is on Pacific. So I'm not pulling your tail here. So it seems like it's working, and it's working pretty efficiently. I never like to say that this is the best solution. I always think that there's people who come up with ingenious solutions that I just never think about. So if you're one of those people, please let me know. I would love to learn more about how you do this more efficiently. And likewise, if you have a similar issue and this video helped you out, please let me know. I welcome both challenges, criticisms, and successes. Ultimately, this is to help you guys and also help myself. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it went a little longer than I wanted to, but I think it does have some cool tips here. And I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll be talking soon. Thank you, and ta-ta.